Well, hey there, fellow navigators. Last night we got 12 inches of snow, and right now I can't even get onto the property over there at the J&L Narrow Gauge Railroad. So I've been at home all day today and working on a few projects here in my garage, which I affectionately call the Kohlberg Locomotive Works. Let's take a look what we've got going on. So the one thing we've got on the agenda here, this is the frame for one of the trucks for the new passenger car. This is one of the German trucks. Of the three flat cars that we bought, one was a little bit different design, had smaller trucks, and I put those trucks under the tender, the new tender from '58, because we needed a low deck on that car. On the passenger car and eventually the caboose, it'll have these larger trucks. So yeah, basically all I'm doing here, just wire wheeling it, a little bit of needle scaling, and then put the Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer on here. And I'll have to, once this dries, I'll flip it over and do the other side. Then also got to do some work on the wheel sets. So I've been pulling these apart. So you have the journal box, and in the journal box is brass, which is stuck. Can't seem to get it out of there, but oh well. This is nice to see that the journal surface is still nice and polished. We had all of this horsehair. So some horse in Germany gave up its hair 60, 70 years ago, 80 years ago for this car. So we're going to use cotton waste instead, like we put in the journal boxes for the tender. But you can see how this is made. We have the brass bearing, and I believe this one here has the Babbitt insert in it. And so I'm basically just going to clean up the journal surfaces on it, clean up the journal boxes and the brasses, and then we'll go through and do stuff like painting and cleaning up all the springs and all the various hardware, so that when we put this truck together, it can get its leaf spring here, then it gets the equalizer in the middle, and then all the other little pieces and parts that goes on here. So should have this done here before too long. This is the center bowl on it. Is actually what it looks like is just a sphere. It's a it's concave, and then over here, this here is one of the castings that goes on the bottom of the car. So I took this off one of the original cars, and we're going to remake these in steel. So it'll be a 1-inch steel plate, burnout, another burnout here as a ring, and then this will be a piece of 6-inch diameter round stock that we'll have machined into this shape, and then welded all together. Then that'll be welded to the bottom of the car and be our new center bowls. I don't particularly want to use the originals because we may still use the original frames and have it, build new trucks and all that, and have additional cars. And also, this was the only one that I could get off of the car out there without breaking it. As this, you can see here, I had to torch off some of the bolts, and they're gonna have to do a little bit of work to get those bolts knocked out of here without cracking anything. They're already rust jacked this one corner off. I don't want to damage it anymore. So that'll be happening soon. Getting the machine shop to make that stuff up. Well, here's the this is the air reservoir for the 58's tender. This is a Westinghouse air brake reservoir. that was donated a few years ago. And we've got it painted here. I'm just waiting for a nicer day over there at the railroad to take it over there and make the brackets up and bolt it onto the tender. What else do we have going on here in the incredibly junky garage? Of course, we still have the Ames Uniflow engine sitting back here as a catch-all. Oh, it's another project. These are the Sandboxes for 58. The front two Sandboxes. There's one over there and this one here. Drill a hole there and then put air-actuated sanders. Yeah, well, actually, there'll be a hole drilled, and then there'll be like a half coupling welded on there. Then a pipe will go down through the plate in the bottom of the saddle tank, and then the air-actuated sander will go on that. And then we'll be able to use these for sand this year. We're going to need sand with trying to take train up and down that hill, especially on days that are a little bit on the wet side. And let's see what else we have going on here. Oh, we can take a look at the brake shoes we're going to use. These are actual Cobra high friction composition brake shoes that were made for 16-inch diameter wheels. They're actually made for high rail trucks, for the bigger high rail trucks that have brakes. And they're just so cute. I mean, they're just like it's like a scale model of a real brake shoe, but it's actually a real shoe for 16-inch wheels. These things with this composition material has twice the coefficient of friction as a cast iron brake shoe. So if I were to have a pattern made and then make some cast iron shoes, it would have half the braking ability that this thing has with the same brake pressure, which is important. What I also have here, bought this on eBay. This is I think it's a 4-inch by 4-inch air cylinder. So we'll have truck mounted brakes, so each truck will have one of these. I think one or two, I forget. Well, I haven't really gotten it fully designed yet. Brake cylinders, and for each truck, including this one over here, which will have the truck mounted brakes, and then we'll figure out later on how they're actually going to work and be actuated and all that. Once we get the thing painted and laid back down the way it's supposed to be, and they'll start playing around with making it work right. And over here, I just got this thing painted this morning. It's just a little tie cart. I'm going to make a handle for one end of it so you can just push it up and down the track, and then if we got a couple of ties that we want to take somewhere, you can just lay them right across here and then just push them down the track. This will be real handy for when we start doing track work later on and we just have to move ties or items or something up and down the track a little bit. You don't need a car and a locomotive to do it. So I made that out of some scrap and a couple of standard gauge wheel sets. Came off a piece of maintenance away equipment, and painted it and stenciled it up. And then over here, this is the air compressor for the tender. I'm still working on it slowly. Still have to do the modifications, take it off the two tanks underneath, and make up brackets so I can mount it directly into the tender where it needs to go. So, well, that's about it that I have to report for today. Oh yeah, so the railroad in Germany that these cars came from, I don't know what these stand for, but this is I believe it's still, there's a historical society that has some of the trackage from this railroad. If you know anything about it, let me know in the comments about this 2-foot gauge railroad over in Germany. I'm kind of curious about it. But yeah, here's the pile of parts. I got to clean up all this stuff. Get everything ready to go back together so we can put this truck back together here soon and bring the next one over and work on it. As for other things going on, well, basically, with all the snow, kind of hampers things. But we're still on the schedule for getting the box car and the caboose moved over to the site here pretty soon. I don't know exactly when. It's up to the crane outfit and the truckers and all that to let me know when they're going to do it. But I'm hoping it's going to happen soon. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can get my backhoe to start here later this week and do a little bit of plowing in the area where they have to go. So I think Wednesday it's going to be above freezing, and then it's going to be below freezing for the rest of the month. And I really don't want to delay getting the equipment moved over here if I could avoid it. So. Alright, well that's all I have to report for right now, and I'll be talking with you all soon.